Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to be talking about some interesting topics and some interesting factors. Now, I was actually not interested in speaking about this, but it's a very interesting, complex terms. Psychology. It's a very interesting and very complex subject. I'm very much intrigued by it every single time, and it's amazing. We are not going to be talking about human psychology or animal or whatever psychology you think. I'm not going to be talking about that this time. This time it's a different topic. It's going to be about psychological disorders, problems, symptoms, and even experiences that people can have. I'm going to be talking about DID, dissociative identity disorder, bipolar disorder, and I'm also going to be talking about some small things such as schizophrenia and also psychosis. Different other topics as such. Now, some of these are experiences done by individuals that have it. Some of these are not experiences but rather symptoms. Some of these are, you can say, some of these are diagnosis, and some of these are actually just symptoms of a different other root problem that happen. First of all, we are going to be talking multiple personality disorder or DID. Dissociative identity disorder, different names for it, same term. It's a case where lots of people have different personalities in their mind, in themselves. It's a very complex one, but it's very interesting since lots of people have it. It's mostly caused and mostly created in children. Under 16, any age children, they can experience and they can have a very strong DID or dissociative identity disorder. They can have a very strong sense of that, and they can have such a problem in them. What is this? This is actually basically, as I said, multiple personalities, one brain. It's a case where you're not aware of what the other personality is. You can be a 30-year-old woman and you're going to have multiple personalities. One where you are a 17-year-old girl, a 7-year-old girl perhaps, and one where you're a 50-year-old woman. Now, in all these case scenarios, we have basically what we call DID, dissociative identity disorder. It's a simple thing but very complex. Why does it happen? Childhood trauma. As I said, it can happen between children from the age of 16 and lower. This happens because of a childhood trauma. It can be because of physical, mental or even sexual trauma or experiences. Now what this does is there's a specific link. For example, if you were a small child and your parents died in a car accident and you were in that car, so anytime you hear the car screeching noise or anytime you hear a car accident noise, you're going to have a DID experience or episode where you tap into a different personality, and for a very long time or very short time, depending on how your experiences are, you're going to be experiencing that personality, you're living in that personality. And the neat part is you don't even know if those personality exist. So until doctors or people around you tell you that you have multiple different diagnoses of multiple different personalities, in case of DID, you won't even know about it. It's as if you've just gone unconscious for a long time and suddenly you're awake. So it's a very complex thing. Now, lots of times people also create what we call coping personalities, where they create a fake illusion of a different personality. You were a child, for example, and your parents were abusive. They used to beat you up because they used to get angry and they used to beat you up. So in simple, for example, Superman, or for example, Indiana Jones, for example, you guys know him. So for example, in the movie Moon Knight, if you guys know, the character, the main character that as we know him, is actually somebody else. We don't know that to the end. And he created a coping identity of what we call, what we know as Indiana Jones. So in simple terms, he created a coping link, a personality where he doesn't have to experience the same suffering as his own original self does. So that's a coping mechanism. but it's different from what originally dissociative identity disorder is. It's not actually a coping mechanism, but it's rather a disorder of its own. It's a problem, not a good thing. Coping links and such things can also come in a variety of ways with that. Schizophrenia. What's schizophrenia? Schizophrenia is a disorder of its own. Now, schizophrenia and psychosis are both connected. It's a series of illusions, and you can say that you lose touch with humanity, not humanity but reality. You have hallucinations, you hear things, you see things, you watch things that aren't even there. Lots of times you can have disorganized speech or thinking, you're gonna have neutral expression, you're gonna have lots of times lack of sleep, you're gonna have a lot of stuff like that. You're gonna see things, you're gonna hear things, and you don't understand what's happening. That's a basic simple case of both psychosis and schizophrenia. While psychosis can be completed and cleared with therapy, it's a very simple thing therapy can fix. But in the other case scenario, schizophrenia is a problem of its own. It can be generally caused because of genes. It has to do mostly with genes, and same goes for schizophrenia, same goes for psychosis. Both can be caused by genes, as it has no certain reason behind it. So in simple case scenarios, these psychosis or these schizophrenia are both very similar and very much the same thing, but the difference is that one is an experience, which is psychosis, and one is a whole diagnosis, which is schizophrenia. Last but not least, let's go towards bipolar disorder. Not to be confused with DID, it is a very different thing. It's a diagnosis also, but it's about moods. While DID is about personality and perception of reality, this diagnosis of what we call bipolar disorder is about moods. Suddenly you're at a very high term, which makes you feel as if you have a peak in energy, very happy, you can't sleep, you want to do something, and then you just want to risk everything and just be doing something which makes you feel very much energized. But on the same link, you have also what we can call a very low of low. So in that low, you feel suicidal, you feel like doing nothing, and you just feel sad and bad out of nowhere. So it's a very interesting cause, but we can get to know it a little bit more in the future. And though that was just a basic about what bipolar, schizophrenia and DID disorders are, and also what psychosis is. That was all for watching. If you guys want to know more about this in depth, I can go about it in depth and give you guys more statistics and data related to these topics. Thank you so much for watching, and Allah Hafiz.